All right. So, welcome to the first episode of the Red Dot podcast. We are very excited to do this. I'm Richa and this is Namrita. We'll just give you a quick introduction for those of you who don't know us. My name is Richa Maule and I'm a PCOS nutritionist. I've been helping for more than 2 years women to get regular period with the nutrition, the ancient forms of workout, supplementations, and we'll be going more into the detail about it. And today we are also going to be covering our stories and why we are doing this. Namrita, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Richa. I'm so excited to start this podcast finally. We've been talking about it for months, like not months, 2 months maybe, but
Yeah,
then
because
to come
we,
together, yeah,
yeah,
this started, I think, the first time we met in a cafe and we went hours and hours talking about period problems that women are facing on a daily basis and different aspects of it. And yeah, I think it all took shape there. And it was then we decided to bring it out to other people also because our stories can help solve other people's problems because women.
yeah.
And okay, so I'll just quickly introduce myself as well. I'm Namrata, and I'm a working IT professional. I'm a data engineer. My credentials to be here on this talk is because I've been on this journey. Um, I know you have overcome a lot of issues related to periods yourself, and now you're coaching people. And I am on this journey. And I'm also recently a Sujok certified therapist, and that's what brings my expertise of how I use various techniques and various ways to help heal myself naturally,
Right.
and how we are going to help out, not help out, but just talk about
Yeah,
how other people can use these techniques and heal
absolutely.
themselves as well.
Right, right. Yeah, and that is why we are doing this also. Because when we sat down together, and believe it or not, we have just met, I think, 2 or 3 times in person. Our
Yeah.
friendship is strong, but it is recent. And this podcast has just kind of organically come out of that. So whenever we were sitting and talking, naturally the discussions were about women's health. It was about spirituality, yoga, the feminine power, and then I think both of us thought, wow, like there are other women who could use this and learn from this. So we are not doing this as in an expert in this field, but more of like having an experience and being on the journey of getting a periods, getting a normal period, because both of us a few years ago, we didn't have normal periods. Okay, I had painful periods. Namrita was diagnosed with PCOS. So we are going to go more into detail about it that now. But yeah, this whole podcast is an interaction and opportunity for you to learn and also for us to learn from you guys. So keep commenting even if you're watching this live later as a recording. Put down your comments. We want to know your story. We also want to learn from what has worked for you and what it means to be a woman and having periods for you. So, with that said, I want to know more about you, Namrita, especially in terms of your menstrual cycle journey. So, I think you can start with how was your experience having the first period?
Okay. Wow. Okay, so my first period, I actually hid it for 2 days. It hits way back. Wow, I've been having that just puts it into perspective. I've been having period for like 18 years now.
Where,
Okay,
when, what, at what age did you get the period?
I got it around when I was 12 or 13.
Right, right.
Yeah, and yeah, I was scared to say to my mom that
Mm.
I've started my period because
Okay.
I knew there were a lot of social restrictions around it. There were a lot of superstitions, and you're not supposed to do this and that. And I thought I will get a scolding. So, I started my period already being in a fear state, in a fearful state,
Yeah.
that now I've got this. Okay, okay, what to do? We had
Mhm.
an orientation from our teachers at school. Not a lot of schools do that, but my school did it, and I was very fortunate that I
Yeah.
knew that something like periods exist, and I'm
Hmm.
going to get it at some point in the next coming years.
Hmm.
So when it came, I was not shocked, and I was like, okay, is this it? Is this what it's gonna be like? But
Yeah.
then. Being in that state of uh, how other people are going to react to me now,
Hmm.
it already made me go back into my shell. And
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
just didn't know how this process was going to be like. So there was a lot of confusion and a lot of fear. Um,
Hmm.
and I think in most of the households in India, there are a lot of social restrictions surrounding periods. There are a lot of superstitions. You're not supposed to do this, that. You're not supposed to even touch other people. Like I know there are extreme superstitions and
Right.
compulsions when you are on your period. So that itself is so taxing on you, and on top of that, you're going through the period itself is
Correct.
a little taxing. Not
Correct.
a little taxing, but for some people it's very taxing because they go through a lot of pain. And through all these years, while I was growing up, I never even, I mean, I think I disassociated with my part where whenever I used to have periods. So I used to go out and, you know, do more, like they show on advertisements on of
Hmm.
pads or something,
Hmm.
that women
Hmm.
are running and women are doing this and that and
Yeah.
jumping around. So I used to do all of that, getting inspired from the ads,
Hmm.
that
Okay.
I can do anything on my period. I even ran a 400-meter race back in
Oh.
school when I was on my period second day. I don't know what I was trying to prove, but just to
Hmm.
bring it out and say it out loud, there's nothing you have to prove when you're on your period. Okay.
Right.
And since then, I never actually associated myself or went inside, went into deep knowledge about what period is actually. I wasn't even aware of the stages, the
Hmm.
follicular stage, the luteal phase, and what ovulation is, because maybe it was such a shunned topic. There
Hmm.
was so many taboos around periods. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, when nobody is talking about it, why should I? And why should
Hmm.
I study more? And I
Hmm.
think throughout the years, that's how that's the kind of relation I built with
Hmm.
my period. And
Right.
it wasn't a good relation because it brought in a lot of problems. Because when
Hmm.
there were problems, I totally ignored it, and I didn't, take proper medication when I was supposed to. If I was not having period for a few months, I would take
Okay.
the quick fixes. I would not take an organic approach to it. Yeah, now I'm more aware, but back
Hmm.
in the days when I can see, 6, 7 years down the line, I think our bodies are more active during that time. But, once I started working and I had a more sedentary lifestyle, these issues started popping up more, like the
Hmm.
irregular periods. I was diagnosed with PCOS as well. It was borderline, it was nothing extreme. I didn't physiologically experience any pain, but there was a lot of brain fog, a lot of mental confusion,
Hmm.
and I really there was PMS, there was soreness in the breast, and then so many other issues. Just having a painful period is not it. There are so many other things that go on around it, and I never took an opportunity to sit down and understand why all this is happening. I
Right.
think, and that goes way back to how I reacted to my first period, and
Hmm.
how all these conditionings have disallowed us to build a proper relationship with our periods.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, I know that I physiologically did not experience any pain, but there was a lot
Hmm.
of mental pain and agony
Hmm.
that I was in.
Right.
So, like what was your journey through? I know that you had to take so medication also to relieve yourself from pain because it was that bad.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Right. So I think I got my first period around same time, 11 or 12 years, when I was
mhm.
11 or 12 years. And although I knew that there is something called periods that comes for every girl at this age, my mom had talked to me about it. But I was still shocked that it's happening to me. I know it happens to every woman, but I was like, what? And I started crying. I
Okay,
started crying. I went to my mom. I was like, I got a stain and I got blood. And I started crying. And then I said, I'm not going to school tomorrow. And then my mom was like, it's fine. It happens to everyone. Just go to the school tomorrow. It's fine. And yeah, so my feelings at that time were shame and shock. Like, why is it happening to me? I felt it was some kind of a disease or something.
hmm,
And that shame is there especially in Indian houses. I don't know how it is abroad, but I remember that time, even in the ads they used to show, stay free ke ad mein they would show the blue liquid.
yeah,
And I'm like, what is this used for? What is this blue liquid? And now recently they have started showing, red blood and all of that. And a lot of time, my not my parents but my relatives would change the channel if an ad of Stay Free came.
yeah,
So then, yes, you have this built-in thing that okay, it is something shameful. So yeah, shame was one of the first, you know, feelings that I had around it and emotion that I had around it. And then I remember next day I was walking weird because wearing a pad, and that time there were no thin pads, also ultra thin and all, nothing was there. It was those bulky pads. Yeah, so and from the first period itself, it was very painful for me. Okay, and then my mom told me this is how it has been for me, so this is quite normal. And so for all of my teenage years, taking two painkillers on day one and one more on day two was the norm for me, and I thought this is normal. Uh, and mom said, even my mom, like my grandmom, also had it, so that's fine. And then I went to college, and then I saw the girls are playing, basketball on day one of the period. I'm like, what? How is that possible? So then I understood that period pain might be common, but it's not normal. So, but still, I didn't know how to help myself, or I didn't even ask myself that question. It was fine. I was just on painkillers, and sometimes it would be so bad, even after taking two painkillers, the pain would not go away. I would be rolling in my bed with pain, and I had to miss classes. And when I started working, I had to pray that my important sales meetings don't come up on the day of my period. That important date doesn't come coincide with the date of my period. That was
yeah.
my life.
Did you ever have to take a pill to delay your period?
No, no, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I know that there are a lot of religious superstitions around periods, and
Yeah,
you're not supposed to attend some important pujas. So, if there is
yeah.
an important puja like Ganesh Utsav or Navratri coming, so my mom used to tell, you take the pill, and
Okay.
it will get delayed by a few days, but then that disrupts your menstrual
Mhm.
cycle like crazy.
Mhm.
And it's not her fault because that's what she came to learn about, right?
Right,
Um,
right.
and it was normal. Like a lot of people in my community used to do that, and I've seen so many people do that. Delay
Yes.
their periods because there's some religious
Yeah,
festival or something coming up, and something
yeah,
important coming up, and they should not, like a trek coming up, and they should
yeah,
delay their periods because it'll be
yeah,
uncomfortable during trek.
yeah,
So I have seen people do that, and
yeah.
I don't know if they are aware or not, but it totally disrupts the cycle.
So, right, right. Yes, people still do that. Like, I have students telling me, can I take the pill because I have this religious ceremony? So I'm like, it is your decision, but I don't think God wants you to delay your period. God wants you to have your period regularly every month. And just because you said trek, I just remembered something. For until the age of 30, I had painful periods. Okay, Even after becoming a nutritionist and understanding about diet and all, and following the diet that is given in a normal nutrition course where they teach about calories in and calories out, even after following that, my pain did not go away. Even after becoming a fitness coach, I was teaching strength training. I did the course. I had to still cancel my workout classes because I was having painful periods. So I was like, how can I be a health coach when I'm not able to solve this problem for myself? And then and meanwhile, I was consulting a lot of clients for weight loss. That time I was not into PCOS, and what I saw was every second or third girl was having some period problems. If not PCOS, then irregular or painful period, endometriosis, yeah, missed period, infertility. Every second girl, like this is like almost 50%. So everyone has some period problem. That's when I deep dived into, what is the diet exactly for hormonal balance. And then I understood it's not just the diet. Of course, you need to cut out the inflammatory foods, but it is also the lifestyle, and your stress management. And it's a very slow process. Like it takes months and years sometimes.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
think that's very right, Richa, because a lot of girls they're not getting periods even for up to a year,
Yes.
and they might be on those medications that you have to take for 28 days. I don't know if they're called birth control pills or
Yeah.
something
OC.
else that is used. Yeah, okay, okay.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's been normalized. It's okay. Yeah, period problems to सबको होते हैं.
Right.
But that's not normal. The way it's being normalized is actually,
Yeah.
that's what you should be scared of. How period problems are being normalized. How having uh fibroids are being normalized.
Yeah.
How having PCOS. I think I told one of my bosses in that you know this is the problem. And he said, oh, yeah, I spoke to my wife. She says it's very normal, like a lot of people have it. It's not normal, it's an abnormal condition. That's why you're being diagnosed with something.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, so that brings me back to why I started exploring this in the first place.
Hmm.
When I was working, there was almost maybe a year when I was having anxiety and so many other issues, and it had gotten that worse.
Hmm.
It was not manifesting maybe physically, of course, it might have been manifesting in other ways that I was not noticing, like having
Hmm.
digestion issues or something like that. And they might be interlinked, but on a mental level, it was really, I was having a lot of issues. And I
Hmm.
could not understand why I was having this. It's because I had a major hormonal imbalance,
Hmm.
and the way I was handling my emotions before and after periods, I was just a wreck basically, if you can say. Uh, and that's what prompted me to start this journey of understanding why my emotions are going through so many ups and downs, and why I cannot focus on one thing. I was almost unproductive for a whole year. I was not able to focus on work, and
Hmm.
work got impacted big time for me.
Hmm.
And I was not able, there was a constant state of confusion. So, it created a lot of brain fog. And that's
Hmm.
not a very good state to be in, for such a long period of time. You don't know what you're doing, you don't know why you're doing something. And
Right.
if something is good for you, something is bad for you. So
Right.
that's why I started understanding my periods and, kind of scheduling my life and my world according to when my periods are starting and going,
Hmm.
So that helped me understand when I will have time to focus best, and
Hmm.
I can have a clear state of mind and build on that. And as I started solving all the other emotional problems, anxiety, I came through a teacher who taught us yoga. We
Yeah.
have a common teacher. We
Yes,
learned,
that's how we met.
yes, that's how we met. So Guru Pashupati taught both of us in a lot of things. He coached you with Nepadam as well, right? With the
Yeah.
ancient fitness
Yeah.
techniques, yeah, and that helped me get started on a body level. of
Hmm.
how. So physically, I try to address the issues first. Getting more active because the sedentary lifestyle was one of the major causes why I was having this.
Hmm.
Because PCOS is mostly, I think, it's considered as a lifestyle disorder, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So getting active with yoga movements, it really
Hmm.
helped me out.
Hmm.
Surya Namaskars also really helped me out.
Okay.
So, and then it was not just physical level coaching; it was also an emotional level coaching where where you understand what traumas are surrounding your body or periods. I personally understood
Right.
what traumas there were related to my periods, what level of emotional suppression or what kind of psyche I had
Hmm.
around my periods, which
Hmm.
was causing so many issues.
Hmm.
Because there was no reason for me to have so many issues because everything was going fine in my life. There was not like a major trauma hit or a truck hit me or something like that.
Hmm.
So why should I be in so much pain on a mental level? So he
Hmm.
helped me get through that, and after that, I also came in touch with my another set of teachers where I got certified as a Sujok therapist for level one. And I went to them as a patient, of course, because
Hmm.
after so many years of practice, so many months of practicing, I again had a missed period and
Okay.
I wanted to understand it better. So, or try a different approach because even until then, I was not fully into it and fully trying to understand uh, what the root cause is.
Hmm.
And then I think when I was doing their course of acupuncture, they are experts in acupuncture. They have a
Okay.
PhD and stuff like that. And they use Sujok therapy and acupuncture combined to help me out. And once I did the course, I understood like what's happening on an energy level, why
Hmm.
there's so much deficit and why there's so much surplus energy in some areas, and why there's so much deficit, and why
Hmm.
and how the energy is flowing out. Of course, with yoga also you understand how the energy flows. But this was
Right.
something like a practical experience for me because Sujok therapy is something. It's a Korean technique, uh,
Yeah.
and it's somewhat based on how the energy flows are going on in your body within different
Hmm.
organs. So that really helped me, get something solid and build a whole understanding of how to manage my periods once and for all, and how
Yeah.
to just be done with it, because I wanted to have a normal period, and it had been so long. I used to have normal periods, but then again, it was disrupted with some life event or the other.
Hmm.
And I don't think so. That's how it should be. Even any kind of diet changes or any kind of if you're traveling somewhere and then you have a missed period. So mm, I deconditioned myself from all of that, and then it was a journey at school. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. Like you had to work on so many levels, right? You had to go in so much depth.
yes,
So tell me, how long did you take from the point where you decided, okay, now something is wrong, I need to turn things around, to, having regular period and having the confidence that, yeah, I will have the next period.
yeah. So right from the start, I had period issues always.
Hmm.
There were irregularities always. It was
Right.
not a good cycle. So I used to take homeopathy medication.
Hmm.
Now, when you start something, you have to be regular with it, right? And homeopathy has like you have to follow a certain course.
Hmm.
Whatever you are following, Ayurveda, homeopathy, or any other medicine that is prescribed to you, you have to take it regularly. And I was not a person who would take medicines regularly because at some point I would be like, how long do I have to take this?
Hmm.
And
Right.
even when I started working and I had a missed period, I went to a local doctor and she gave me a birth control pill to get to jumpstart my period. And it's not a normal way to start a period.
Yeah.
And yeah, um, and that's when I thought, this is not normal. It's
Hmm.
let's stop normalizing it. I want to stop normalizing it in my life to have these
Hmm.
irregularities. because
Right.
only by having a regular hormonal cycle I can have a mental clarity. And
Right.
I really was striving for mental clarity because there was just so much brain fog. I couldn't
Right.
work. I felt like I was, one step behind others always.
Okay.
And it's not to level up, now that I've understood the whole aspect, it's not to level up, but it's to basically be a better version of you and to do what you want to do in
Right.
life in general, not just work. Like if you want to be a dancer or if you want
Hmm.
to do anything, you need to have a lot of focus and clarity, and that was lacking from a long time. I think COVID made it worse, and
Hmm.
let's not blame everything on COVID, but yeah, it was a time where there was a lot of fear in general. And
Yeah.
I have always associated with periods with a lot of fear. So it
Hmm.
magnified during that time,
Hmm.
It was something I was experiencing like on a large scale in my head, in my own world.
Hmm.
So that had to be dealt with. And once I think that's when I started yoga. And on
Hmm.
a physical level, my teacher taught me a lot of ways on how I can clear out the toxins in my body. How having
Hmm.
an active lifestyle will help
Yeah.
me improve the blood flow to the uterus and to other and initiate
Yeah.
other hormonal balancing cycles and flow in my body.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think even after that, there was a lot of mental confusion and other things that I was struggling with, and it was a journey. It's not like one day I woke up and I decided to be today I need to have regular periods now. It it
Okay.
took it
Right.
took a few years. There was always ups and downs because all days were not same, and sometimes you slag.
Hmm.
Sometimes there are other things that are of a higher priority. Of course, nothing is higher priority than health. But then,
Hmm.
yeah, it tends to take backseat for most of us. Even our periods tend to take backseat for most of us. So I was putting it in backseat and I was avoiding to do the work
Right.
a lot of times. So the times when I was working, it was working fine for me. The times I was
Hmm.
not working, it broke down. The whole system was breaking down.
Hmm.
And that's when I was like, okay, let's get done with it once and for all because I can't waste any more time. I don't
Right.
want to waste any more time on this.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's how I learned Sujok therapy then. And with whatever knowledge of past 2 years with yoga and Sujok therapy, I just learned to manage my periods, schedule it, and schedule my work around it and my life around it.
Hmm.
So I have to avoid any stress altogether.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, even
So,
now, I think, if people think, you now that you're figured out, you're sorted. No, you have to follow it every day. You
right.
can't just like be like, okay, you're sorted out and you plan.
Hmm.
If you're not following it and you're not implementing it, and it's okay because you're a human and
Right.
you tend to do that. It's okay.
Give
So
me a second.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. My charging was going off. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, that's how the journey has been.
Hmm.
All days are not same, and
Yeah.
you figure out when you hit the lowest, and
Yeah. Right.
you implement it once and for all to get rid of
Right.
that pain in your life.
Right. Right. True. So yeah, I was going to talk about the trekking part. You mentioned the trek, so I remembered something. So in my 30 years of having painful period, the only month I didn't have a painful period was when I was on a trek and I had gone to a Himalayan trek. Okay, it was a 7 day trek. We went up to 12, 13,000 feet, I think. Okay,
Okay.
and I was on the trek and I've always had excruciatingly painful period. And right on the day three of the trek, I got my periods. And I was like, man, now I am screwed tomorrow. How am I going to climb that big mountain on my period? And anyways, I went to sleep. I got up, and next day, no pain, zero pain. I don't know what it was. Was it the change in the environment, or was it the pure air, lack of toxins or pollutants around me? Because we were just trekking in a very remote and beautiful area in Kashmir. So that was the only month I didn't get my periods, and I was surprised. How could I climb a big mountain where I would be bedridden back at home on the day one and day two of period? Yeah,
I think the environment changed for you
yeah,
because this is your normal state. Whenever period comes, it it signals your brain, and you know that now you have to take a painkiller, right? Like
hmm.
I've seen even women, if they have any kind of PMS, they will start popping pills to
Yeah,
because they start preparing that there's going to be pain. Alert, alert, and it was something you were not prepared for.
yeah,
So so
yeah,
in your brain, you were not prepared for it, and you were actually having a good time. You were enjoying it.
yeah, yeah.
So your
And
brain
and
decided to have the experience of enjoyment than the
exactly,
pain.
my body knew I have to climb this beautiful mountain, see this beautiful views today, and the body is so powerful that it can do away with that pain for which I had to pop, painkillers back at home.
Yeah, exactly. When you say powerful, it just uh, it just brings me to this clarity that periods are not something to be ashamed of, or it does not make you weak. Because I think that's how when women in the ancient times, when women were supposed to be treated as goddesses because they used to bleed and still be fine, so they had superpowers. But uh, I think a lot of things changed when religion came into picture. I was watching one of these podcasts,
Hmm.
and when religion came into picture and how it affected how periods were viewed altogether, and women
Hmm.
were banned from coming into temples, going to churches, etc.
Right.
Because now you're on period, and
Hmm.
that's how women were conditioned that they are weak because
Hmm.
they have to rest
Hmm.
and their body is bleeding, so they
Hmm.
are inferior than men. So
Yeah.
it periods were treated as something sort of a weakness. Periods is
Yeah.
equal to weakness.
Weakness.
So but period is equal to power, and that's how the perspective has changed for me. There's so
Right.
much power, and
Yeah.
there's so much knowledge that you can derive about your
Hmm.
own body and about your
Yeah.
own emotional state from your own period.
Correct.
And uh, I think once you change that perspective of how period is equal to pain,
Yeah.
but you shift from there to period is equal to power, it has
Power.
a lot of value, really.
Yeah. Right. 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 And power not in terms of you need to go and run on a marathon, but because I see a lot of new age feminism doing this. They want to prove that yeah, we can even run a marathon or do anything on your periods. It's
Of
not
course,
about
you
you.
can,
Yeah,
because women are
body.
conditioned. Yes, exactly what you want.
What
Women
you
are predisposed to bearing any sort of pain because their body is designed that way to bear a child, to
hmm.
bring a whole human out of your body. So they are
Yeah,
predisposed to pain, and you can do anything on your period. But
yeah,
I think we are done proving it,
yeah,
and we should go a little inward and understand how our body is working and
right.
do away with all this pain because it's all unnecessary pain. We can be doing much better things.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So for me, it actually everything turned around when I started practicing Padam. So, like I said, even after becoming a nutritionist and a fitness coach, the period pain did not go away for me. Yes, I started making qualitative changes in my nutrition, not just counting calories, but understanding what kind of food inflames your body, sugar and all. We'll be talking about that in the coming episodes. That, but the definite turning point for me was practicing Padam, which is also the form I'm teaching in my workout classes now. I call it Flow 108. Within 2 to 3 months of starting to practice with master, Jyoti Silambam sir, from where we learned, did our certification. Within 2 to 3 months of that, my periods became absolutely painful, and it's been 2 years I have not taken any painkillers. So yeah, but again, yeah, you have to be careful. Even now, I see when I have more of the sugar or the inflammatory food in a month, immediately in the next cycle, I do feel the discomfort and the pain increasing. Although I don't have to pop pills, but I can see the effect on my body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, a lot of your knowledge on functional nutrition also comes in handy when you are dealing with yourself, of course, yourself, but also with clients,
Yeah.
because you can just relate, correlate how, what kind of lifestyle someone is having, what kind of nutrition someone is having, and the kind of period that they are having
Right.
or not having at all, you know?
Right. Yeah. And yeah, you rightly said, functional nutrition happened to me a little later after Mahipadam, but
Mm.
that has helped me a lot with my students and my clients, and for every woman it is a little different. Of course, regular workout, especially with something
Mm.
like Maypadam Flow 108, helps most of the women, but
Mm.
some bodies need more support in terms of getting rid of toxins, making
Yeah.
changes to the diet, getting the insulin resistance under control, all of
Yeah,
that.
so you do a blood works also for your analysis.
Yes,
Analysis.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
right.
Great.
So yeah, this is our story of our relation with periods so far, and how we have got a normal period. And the name of this episode is "Will I ever get a normal period?" So yes, it is absolutely possible, and you need to be open to trying out different things, more things. And fortunately, in India, there is so much available. I know I have relatives and cousins in US. Over there, it's all pills and conventional medicine and allopathy, and very few people are even able to think about alternative practitioners, and finding an alternative good practitioner is a challenge over there.
Yeah.
But I think in India we are blessed in a way that there is so much for us to try out, and a combination of different things could work for different women.
Exactly. If traditional medicine, sorry, modern medicine is not working for you, you can always switch to traditional medicine, Ayurveda. You
Yeah.
can always go to homeopathy. You can always move to alternative healing therapies.
Hmm.
There's yoga, there's traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, so many things that you can. And
Right.
there's so many good practitioners also out here.
Yeah. True. Right. All right, so let's come towards concluding this episode. And we want to tell you about the upcoming episodes. We have planned a 5-part series in the Red Dot podcast. So, Namrata, why don't you go ahead and tell about what we are going to cover, because it's a very ancient way of looking at the body.
Yeah. So our body has an innate guidance that's inbuilt, but we tune out of it with so many other uh, learnings from our environment, from our surroundings. So, how we are tuning back into that inner knowledge from the body. So, I think we have designed the series on the basis of what we have learned from yoga. And in yoga, for those who are uninitiated in yoga, we have 5 levels, 5 planes of body, which is called the Panchakosha. And there are different types of body or energy planes that you exist on. And that is called Panchakosha, or the 5 bodies. So it all starts with the first one being the food loving body, or Annamaya Kosha. With the food level body, we the first episode is going to be related to nutrition and related to how your body is working, how you can be more active, and what kind of nutrition, that is the food loving body or the anna, that you can give uh, to your body to deal with periods. So everybody has a different theme or meaning, and that will be associated with the perspective that we will have for periods. So the first, which is food loving body, will have nutritional aspect that you can follow for periods, and also we'll be talking about issues when it comes to like PCOS or endometriosis, or about a dysmenorrhea or low levels of iron, all those issues surrounding nutrition
Yeah.
with periods.
Yeah.
The second episode is going to be about uh, the pranamaya kosha. Prana means uh, more and more energy in your body, or how energy is flowing in your body. We say how prana is flowing in your body. So we will talk about the uh, activities that you can inculcate to understand and also to promote good energy flow to the organs that are associated with periods. Then will be coming the manomaya kosha, which is the emotional aspect, and how emotions or how suppressed emotions can be dealt with, and how they can help you relieve period problems. Then we'll be coming to Vijnanamaya Kosha, or the logical aspect of your body, where we'll be talking, where we'll be diving deep into the neurobiology. Your brain changes more than 20% when you are on your period, and also in the different hormonal cycles. So we'll be talking about that aspect, and how you can understand your neurobiology better to solve out the other issues.
Hmm.
And final is the Anandamaya Kosha, which is the spiritual level of existence. It's called the happy. Anandam Kosha is the happy um, body. And with that, we'll be kind of summing up all these aspects, and bringing how you can experience a good period and be happy. Like, how many of us have been in a state of pain, crying, and so much emotional turbulence during period? But you can also be happy in your periods. You can also be like a normal person, live
Yeah.
a day-to-day life in your periods. It doesn't have to be like a
Hmm.
traumatic experience.
Right.
So, how to experience Ananda during periods is the final episode that we'll be having. And all these bodies are interrelated. So if something is broken down at an emotional level in the manomaya kosha, if you have a lot of emotional suppression, that can affect the first level of body, which is your food loving body. So maybe your body will stop absorbing nutrition, and it is all
Right.
interlinked. It will not be able to absorb nutrition from your food and use it where it's required. So it is all linked, and even and that's how I think we have decided to bring this talk, because it's a whole system.
Right.
It's not an isolated system that we are talking about.
Correct.
You can't treat only PCOS. You can't treat only insulin resistance. You have to keep all the aspects together, and then derive a holistic approach to manage your periods and have a happy period and have a
Yeah.
normal period. Yeah.
Absolutely. Amazing. Amazing. So we are very excited to dive deeper into our health and our bodies. So we will see you in the next episode. We will conclude this episode. So those of you who are watching the recording of this live, we want to know what was your experience about your first period. So put it in the comments below, or you can even send us a DM on Instagram. I will be linking our Instagram handles in the description of this live video later. So see you next time, and until then, stay healthy. Any parting message, Namrata?
Yeah, Richa. We are also working on a landing page, and
Yes,
we will link all the episodes that are upcoming. So
right.
anything that interests the audience, you can join. If you think that nutrition is not something you want to deal with,
Yeah,
then you can join other podcasts and dive deep into it. And
right.
we would want people to share, get more educated,
Yeah,
and not just women, men too, because you will always have a wife or a daughter or a co-worker, you know, or
Absolutely.
a mother, you will have, you will always, 50% of the population is women,
Right.
approximately. So
Yeah.
you will always have someone around you. And the more we understand it as a society, I think the more
Hmm.
we can move ahead
Hmm.
beyond these taboos and everything
Right.
that's pulling us down.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Okay.
All right. So until next time, bye bye.
Okay. Bye, Richa. See you.
Bye.